and welcome back. We are in the process of building the Gavilan Hills Vineyard here at Paradise Ranch. We would love you to follow along. This is a project we've never tried before. This is all new to us, and if you would like to see some of our stumbles and falls and even our triumphs, please join us. We're getting right down to the wire. Click on the link below and please subscribe and hit the notification buttons too, so you see every time we put up a new video. So welcome back. Let's get to it. Well, welcome back. Now we're heading into chapter 6 here, and this is our soil testing and results. And this is probably the most confusing part of it for us, figuring out the soil testing. And in the end, you'll see that it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. With all my research and discussions with people down in Temecula, grapevines prefer a healthy struggle for survival, is the best way to put it. At least when it comes to the soil and the watering you give it. There are times when you want to give it less water. Grapes work real well when you don't have really rich soil. You know, they want to be able to work hard and make those really good grapes. When it came to soil testing and the soil itself, the recommendations I received were go ahead and till the soil down 3-4 feet and 3-4 feet wide. Well, obviously you can see behind me that hill, and the hill's up higher. This isn't going to happen. So I talked to a bunch of people and they said you can just do soil amendments as you're planting the vines. So I put together and I did a soil test. And I put the soil test together, and here's what I did for the soil test. Based on the directions from the soil company who's going to be doing our testing, they wanted me to go around to 3 or 4 locations and get a shovel of dirt, mix it together in a clean bucket. So I had a clean shovel, a clean bucket, mix them together, and send it to them. And they charged $75, as I said. So it's not bad for the kind of testing that I want to find out. I want to know what additives I need to put into this soil to make it optimal for grapevines. But let me move this out of the way. Take a look at this hill. Over to the right, you're going to see sandy soil. Up on top, that's more of a DG kind of soil. Down over there, we've got more of a topsoil kind of look. And the other side, it's even different than that. It's real dark. So I'm mixing like 4 different kinds of dirt here. I'm hoping that's going to be okay and that it works out. Once I get the vineyard going, you're supposed to do testing once a year. I may end up doing testing from 3 different zones and do 3 different tests depending on how the grapes go. But we're supposed to put it into a bucket, clean up the bucket, take out some of the leaves that are in here and rocks. Take out some of the rocks. And then what we do is we take that and get 2 cups of it and put it in a Ziploc container. This is a little over 2 cups. So I'm gonna get 2 cups of this stuff. I'm gonna get a little more than 2 cups. Take out some of the leaves and branches in it. And rocks. Boy, there's a lot of rocks in this stuff. I was sifting through this earlier to get rid of the rocks. And then take a Ziploc container, and we're supposed to put it into our Ziploc container. There's my soil sample. I guess all the rocks are out. I don't think I have any rocks in there. It doesn't feel like it. So there's my sample that I'm going to be sending out. I filled out the paperwork for it, and I'll include that in the envelope. But I'm going to put it in 2 envelopes. I'm going to put it in this envelope. Get in there. I'm going to put it in this envelope and wrap it up pretty tight. And then I'm going to put it into a second envelope like this with the application in it. So essentially that's it. I'm ready to go, and I'm sending this off. Let's see how long it takes for them to get back to us. So I pulled that soil, the soil for the soil test, and sent it out. I did that about 2 months ago. It's now the 1st of April. We got our results back about 3 weeks or so after we sent it out to the fixmysoil.com. But while we were waiting for the results to come back, I came across another kit, this one here. It was a soil kit. I found it over Lowe's. The fixmysoil.com, they charge $75. This was $25 over Lowe's, and I actually bought 2 of them, only because I was mentioning it. I was concerned about the different kinds of soil I have. I have different soil from all over the place, and I'm going to take all those and mix them all together and send them over to fixmysoil.com. What kind of results would I get compared to a test of just testing, let's say, this section 1, section 2, and section 3. So I actually did 3 tests. I did the main test, which mixed them all together and sent it out. And then I did a soil test of the sandy area here in section 1 and the more soil, let's call it more organic kind of material over in section 2. And I did 2 different tests. And the tests I got back were almost the same. So let's talk about some of those tests. One other thing I did also, I found a moisture meter pH tester on Amazon. And I've been using this, and the pH levels will register on this a little lower than what the test results said, but the moisture meter side does real well. And because I have as you can see, I have my plants in the ground already. Sticking this all the way in the ground next to the plants actually worked out pretty good, and it's telling me that I've got plenty of water in the ground. So this was kind of cool. This was like $15. So that was just another thing I did. So along with using my cute little tester here, let's talk about the results. Now I got the results back from Fix My Soil. I'm going to talk about that one first, and I'll put a piece of it up. But the bottom line is there are really 4 different pieces or nutrients we want to deal with. One is organic matter. How much organic matter, how much manure, how much fertilizer is there actually in the soil? How much potassium, how much phosphorus? Those are the 3 main nutrients, and then the pH level. Now the testing came back, well, let me talk about pH level first. pH level, depending on who you read, God, this is what frustrates me. Depending on who you read and where you're talking about, I've seen people say that pH level for grapes need to be between 5 and 6.5, 5.0 to 6.5. Other ones said it needs to be 5.5 to 6.5. I read one the other day that said anything between 5 and 8 is okay. So they're all different, and it just kind of drives me crazy. Typically, it looks like most of the stuff is saying 5.5 to 6.57. So like between 5 to 7 is a good range for grapes. Now I'm going to discuss it in my next video, but the rootstock that I'm using actually thrives on a little bit higher pH. So my concern really was, what is the pH level of the soil that we have? And Fix My Soil, which is the one I paid $75 for, where I mixed it all, the pH level came back at 7.3. Now 7.3 isn't too bad. I really thought it was going to be a lot worse than that. And then the other 2 tests I did from the soil kit, one came back at 7, which is the one on the other side in section 2. It came back with the organic matter in it. It came back at 7. And the one here, which I was concerned about the most because it's DG and sand, it also came back at 7.3. So all of my soil is between 7 to 7.3, which is really good from that standpoint. So one of the advantages of going with fixmysoil.com was I was able to speak to the lab itself. This one here, it was a $25 kit. They didn't give you the option to call them and ask them any questions. So I want to show you the test results that came back from fishmeal.com. You see here on the screen. It has a soil mix, it has the organic matter of like 1.5%, phosphorus, potassium, magnesium, copper, iron, zinc, boron. It has all of the ingredients there, and it kind of gives you a level. Reading that, I had no idea what that meant. If you take a look at the report from fixmysoil.com, you can see it came back with about the same numbers. And it's funny, the numbers that came back from the two tests, almost all of them were identical. But it came out a little bit different, where it was telling me, well, something's high, something's medium, something's low. The main ingredients for each one of those came out pretty good, and I was amazed. So I talked to the lab, and when it came right down to it, all I needed to do was to raise my organic matter. I need to raise the organic matter in my soil. In other words, add some manure, add some fertilizer to the vines. And I live in horse country out here, and so I have plenty of places where I can go get some manure. So I went and got I got a trailer load of manure, shoveled it out of a friend of mine's yard. And what we ended up doing was we put about 1 to 2 pounds of pure manure, pure fertilizer in the holes, and mixed it up with the mound of dirt. So the dirt and the manure all got mixed up together as we put it in the hole. So it worked out really well. Now, when I was talking to the lab said what I really need to do is wait about 6 to 8 weeks after the vines have been planted and add 2 cups of a 10-10-10 fertilizer mixer. Now, I didn't know what that meant until I did a little research and found out that's exactly what I need. And I'm going to read this because it's easier to read to you exactly what it's telling me from the lab. A 10-10-10 fertilizer is an excellent choice for grapevines, and it provides equal amounts of nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. So what that is 10-10-10 means there's, in let's say a 100-pound bag, there's 10 pounds of nitrogen, 10 pounds of phosphorus, and 10 pounds of potassium, with 70 pounds of filler to help disperse the nutrients evenly and provide the amounts needed for the grapevines to thrive. So that's not bad. And typically you don't put much fertilizer on these, but they said to put it in 6 to 8 weeks before or after I plant. So I've got that all set up. We're only 3 weeks into planting right now, so I've still got some time. So I've still got, as I said, I've still got some time before I need to put the fertilizer down. And I've been looking around. I found some at Lowe's and a couple online that I think are a little bit better product than what I saw over there. But I want to read you this last paragraph, which really outlines exactly what a 10-10-10 fertilizer is going to do for this and why I'm going to do it 4 to 6 weeks or 6 to 8 weeks after. The 3 main ingredients in a 10-10-10 fertilizer serve specialized functions for the grapevine. The nitrogen is essential to fruit development, and it helps improve the leaf quality so the grapevine can better convert sunlight into nutrients. Phosphorus helps the roots grow deep and strong, and it ensures that grapes will develop sufficient sugars to be sweet and succulent when ripe. Potassium works to build a healthy vine, helping it to resist disease. It also helps the vines to grow healthy, higher quality grapes. Now, I'm not to the point of getting any grapes yet, but obviously this is exactly what I'm looking for. So we've got the soil, we know what we're gonna need to do. I put 1 to 2 pounds, essentially 1 to 2 shovelfuls of manure in each hole as we were planting. And in another month, I'm gonna add some 10-10-10. So as I said, this is all new to us. We're not sure what we're doing. We hope this works out well. We hope this gives us what we want. And we'll only find out soon. The plants are growing pretty well right now, so we'll have to see how things work out. So in the end, All I need to do is to put on some fertilizer in each one of the holes before I plant the grapes. I was all worried about the reading of the reports and trying to figure out how much magnesium and zinc and boron I need. All I really needed is a few shovelfuls of horse manure. So I want to thank you for joining me. Please click the link below and subscribe, follow along. This has been a enjoyable adventure so far, and I hope you guys join with me. Again, this is Jeff, signing off. Until next time, we're out.